Hello everybody and welcome back to Robert's Reviews. Today is the day. If you guys have been following along my MCU series, which has started in September, so it's been a long time, we have been building up to this moment. And quick thing, I did forget to include Ant-Man and the Wasp on my calendar. I don't know how I did. Well, I guess maybe I do. But that will be coming out on July 17th. So towards the end of my MCU run, I will be bringing that up just because I do want to have a review of it, and I apologize for not uploading that on time. That's on me. But today, we're going to be talking about, that is a loud truck. I'm not unediting that. That's in the video. I hope that truck is happy. But we're going to be talking about what most MCU fans consider the best Avengers movie ever, and I have a kind of controversial thought on that. Avengers Endgame. Avengers Endgame was released in 2019. It was written by Christopher Marcus and Stephen McFeely and directed by Joe and Anthony Russo, or the Russo brothers. No spoilers, of course, although if you haven't seen it by now, I mean, you be the first. This movie takes place after Infinity War, where half of the universe has been dusted, so gone. No one knows where they are. They're just kind of dead. People are presuming that they're dead. And the leftover Avengers scrounge together because they're going to do some time travel. And they're going to try to figure out how to get the Infinity Stones back and snap everybody back into existence. Now, everyone says that this is like their favorite MCU movie. And I don't think it's my favorite. And there's a few reasons here why. I do have a video coming out in the future talking more about Avengers Endgame and like why it worked in terms of it ending a franchise almost. But I'm just reviewing the movie here. And honestly, I don't think it's perfect. There are many flaws with this film and that really kind of bother me. And first of all, there are the plot holes, which there are quite a few of. I don't really want to mention all of them because I do plan on talking about them in my other video about Endgame, coming out in a couple weeks. But the main issue being the time travel, which, please, people, stop putting time travel in your media. Like, it's so hard to keep track of that, like, a lot of things will slip audience's mind. And right now, when I'm filming this, at the very least, I think this will be out after... No, it'll still be going on. I'm filming this when Loki first starts, okay? I just finished watching episode 2 the other day. And they're doing pretty good so far. There's still plot holes that they haven't fixed in Loki. But so far, I do think it's going well. But in Endgame, I do think that the theory of time travel does not quite work. Right? Especially considering, like, first of all, when Tony did dress up like the security guard, he looked exactly like Tony. Like, very clearly. And then there are the other times, right, where, you know, the Hulk smashing stuff. And people are going to notice the Hulk looks different, right? And people are going to be like, you know, walking down the street and see Hulk, and then all of a sudden see another Hulk. Like, they weren't that careful about it. And I think a lot of this just kind of goes unnoticed by, you know, audiences because they're like, all... Like, oh my gosh, look, Captain America's looking Mjolnir. Oh my goodness, oh, Iron Man's doing that thing. And there's that whole female thing that I hated where, like, don't get me wrong, okay? I'm all for women's rights. But you cannot tell me that she'll have help and then all the females just suddenly can join in one area. That doesn't make any sense. And, like, there's ways that we can incorporate females into really powerful roles in the MCU. And do it well, and do it in a way that makes sense, and they just didn't here, and that is an issue. But the main issue that I have with this film is the fan service. Now, I love fan service when it is meaningful, and I think a lot of it is here. I think a lot of it is meaningful. I like that Captain America lives in Mjolnir. I really like that. I do like a lot of the stuff about Professor Hulk. I hated Fat Thor, like, a lot. But, like, this movie was just, like, fan service for the most part, and, like, on the side, they were like, oh, yeah, we probably should wrap this up. And that's fine. I get it. I do. I really do get it. I mean, this is, like, what, it was 11 years in the making, and I get it. I do. I think it's fine. But for me, it just felt a little overdone, and I did see this movie, like, 5 times in theaters, by the way. Like, I'm a diehard fan, and I do love the movie. I think it's one of my favorite movies of all time. But is it the best MCU movie? No, it's not. I do think that Infinity War is better. I also sometimes think that Homecoming is better, but I'm willing to accept the fact that Endgame can be better than Homecoming. And other ones like The Winter Soldier, I definitely think The Winter Soldier is better than Endgame. I do. I think it's better. And a lot of it has to do with the stakes here, right? In Endgame, the Avengers have already lost, right? In Infinity War, the Avengers lose for the first time. And that is shocking to audiences everywhere. But the important part to think about here is that now that they've already lost, the stakes are kind of gone. I mean, there's Iron Man's child, of course, which is something to think about in Endgame. But, like, beyond that, there isn't a whole lot to lose. It's like either they bring them back or they're back to where they've already lost. And, yeah, ideally they do succeed, but that's not big enough stakes for me after watching Infinity War. I think that this movie is grandiose. I think a lot of it is very high spectacle, which is interesting because it works. But the issue is that when you go to see one of these movies, you're here because you're like, they could lose here. And you've already watched Infinity War and they've already lost. And you have all these grandiose and spectacular effects for what is basically nothing. Right? Because they've already lost. There's not really a whole lot more to lose. And I just feel like that's really the issue that I have with the film. That being said, I love the film. It's such a weird relationship that I have because, like, as a diehard MCU fan, I love this film. But as a film critic, I don't really think it's perfect. And so I'm going to have to go ahead and give Avengers Endgame just an A, which I recognize is controversial. Please don't unsubscribe. But I honestly, that's my honest rating. And I do have another video coming out about Avengers Endgame. Actually, it's literally this weekend. Talking about why it worked, because there are reasons why it worked. And I'm excited to talk about them and talk about Endgame in a more positive effect. I know that I seem like I talk about the negatives about film more than the positives. But if I don't talk about it and don't mention it, it's probably good. So, if that makes you feel better. I don't have a whole lot of time, and I also don't want to waste all of your time, so it's not worth it for anybody to do that. But you see where I'm coming from. But if you want to see that video, please consider subscribing. I have videos coming out every single day of every single week of every single month of every single year. So please consider subscribing and following along. Share this with your friends. Like the video. And as always, keep watching movies and television. Stay educated. And I'll see you guys in the next video.